Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you are having an amazing day. It's Pratik Thakkar, founder at Webzoli and Testlify. I'm from Tel Aviv, Israel. I would love to know where you are joining from. Share it in the comment below. If you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please send a connection request and press that notification bell so you don't miss an update from me. Firstly, before we begin this session, I want to ask everyone, can you hear me well? Can you see us well? Just put down in the chat if you're okay. Now we have a special announcement before we begin this session. As a thank you gift for participating in this event, Testlify is giving 2 months of subscription worth $398 for free. Testlify gives superpower to HRs that reduces over 70% of screening process and helps them predict and hire the best talent faster. So visit Testlify.com and create your free account and get 2 months free worth $398. Now, time has come to introduce you to a very special guest joining us from Washington, United States. Meet David Alto, who has over 80,000 followers. Oh my God, David, this is incredible. He is owner of Alto Advanced and individual coaching and business consultancy, where he trains and provides HR, marketing, CEOs, and job secure professionals on how to position themselves, their departments, and organization on LinkedIn. Davis is someone who knows both sides of the game. He understands exactly what job seekers want and how HR think about the candidate. So, thank you so much for joining us today, David.
Well, thank you very much. You did my intro good. I have nothing to add, so thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So before we begin, maybe I would love to hear more about your personal story. Before we actually went live, you were discussing about moving to Hawaii. Maybe you want to shed some light on why Hawaii. What are your plans in the coming days, just to connect with the audience on the personal level who don't know you?
Sure. So why Hawaii? Well, why not Hawaii, right? But no. So my wife
I'm
has been
jealous.
working. Well, hey, we can almost, most of us can live almost anywhere nowadays, but my wife has been working remotely for a very, very long time, way before COVID. And then when I started my business in December of 2019 and left the corporate world, um, we had already purchased property there that we rent out to long-term tenants. And then now that I work remotely as well too, we've speeded up that process. And why not in a couple of years, we're going to move there, not retire. Well, we'll retire there, but not just yet. We're too young to, we got some working years left. But we just really fell in love with the weather because, the weather is the same every day in Hawaii. 86 degrees Fahrenheit, low of 70, maybe a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain throughout the day, then the rain goes away. But
Perfect weather.
that's the weather all the time. So hey, why not? And we
Why
have so
not?
many we have so many friends there that we've met. We go there a couple times a year now, and it's hard to come back.
So there is one special destination for me and my wife. We usually go on like 2 months trip or to Thailand, once a year in Chiang Mai. So we rent a condo there, and we live like a digital nomad lifestyle. We work from there. We need our laptop. In the evening, we go out. It's amazing, the best thing ever. There are a lot of people joining us. Hi, Abhishek. Hi, Pedro. Hi, everyone. So, if you have questions for David and regarding employer branding or anything related to HR or hiring, put it down in the chat, and we will take questions ongoingly. So, David, moving on, I want to ask you, what do you think there is like a huge problem in finding like a top talent today? What are the challenges that recruiters are facing?
Sure. So I'm going to take a step back. When I was a hiring manager and I led multiple teams, a lot of times I realized that maybe the job description and what the applicants I were getting weren't the same. I mean, just they weren't. So I took it upon myself and went to HR and said, listen, I need to be a little bit involved. Our job description does not do a good job of explaining what that candidate, what that applicant is going to be really doing. So, and they never had a manager like want to, give input in that job description. And I think that is missing. Right now, employees want to feel valued. They want to feel a sense of belonging. So, how do we craft that into the interview? But first, that job description should be passed around before it is put out. Um, and two different departments, HR, yes, but the hiring manager and maybe employees in the position.
Mhm.
We have the flexibility to get to really integrate, work and personal life by working remotely. Um, Employees really want to know what the company is involved with, as far as diversity, as far as what volunteer organizations, what charitable organizations. I come across some good job descriptions, but lately, again, it starts with that. Is there a clear message? Employees want to feel valued. So, how in the job description can you share how you value employees, right? So, I think it really, really does start there. It starts at that job description. Does that job description allow people to feel valued, a sense of belonging?
This is perfect. I think any successful companies major uh, major base, or I would say, like, the foundation of organization is their employees, and how you actually define their role, make them, like, involved in what you do, and on top of it, you appreciate and value them along the way they are growing in their career. They are all key ingredients, which also attracts newer talent and also helps us, keep the current talent with us, that are too happy with us. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on this, David. Now, how important do you think is employer branding for while in terms of recruiting?
Sure. So nowadays, obviously, with social media, right? Somebody might go to, if I'm looking at potentially working at a company, I might go to Twitter, I might go to LinkedIn, I might go to their business pages to see what employees are saying or seeing what they're involved with, right? Well, where employers are missing the mark is why not get some employee testimonials to put on Twitter, to put on LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
From the employees. So if I go there, I already now I read that and I'm like, wow, their own words, whether it's you know what, and it could be a little clip of it could be a little video clip. Who wouldn't? If your company came to you and said, "Hey, would you like to? I'd like to do like a 20-second little video of you really sharing, just some things you love about the company." Who wouldn't want to do that, right?
Totally.
Um, but companies are missing the mark when it comes to social media in promoting what they're doing for their current employees. So I right there. I mean, why do
Maybe,
that
maybe
again?
you
Go
are
ahead.
so right. Maybe I want to add something here, right? We are in like digital age, and we buy everything online. We shop online, we learn online. Even this session we are doing is online. And online reputation today is so critical. So even though people, when they're applying for jobs, and if your reviews are not great, if people don't talk about you as a company that they are having a wonderful work culture, probably they won't be applying there or like joining there, and they will go for another option. So it's very important today to have that kind of presence, not just in terms of marketing and sales, but as an employer, you need to have the great talent so that you can build bigger company. So yes, I absolutely agree with what you said, David. So, what are the most ignored and overlooked things in employer branding? Maybe it can be like onboarding experience, or like any other criterias that you think are relevant here.
Sure. Well, the onboarding, that is something that's we're finding companies still missing the mark when it comes to onboarding. And what I mean by that, process not too long is too long. It's not it doesn't explain what the process is going to look like, or the onboarding is, do these little modules, talk to your boss once, here's your work.
Hmm.
Sorry, that doesn't work, right?
Yes.
It's meeting different department heads, right? Maybe just chatting with them, finding mentors. It's really showing people what that road to success is going to look like over 30, 60, 90, maybe even a year. And some of the most successful onboarding that I've seen lately, I had a former client reach out to me and tell me this, that they spent a day with this person talking about their future with the company and what that potentially could look like. Now, we hired you because of this, but we could see you eventually in this role. Would that
Hmm.
be a role you want to achieve? Okay, we're not gonna put plans in place today, but we're gonna reevaluate this every 6 months, see where you're at, maybe give you some things to work on. So think of this: you've been in a new employee with a company for a week, and now they're already talking about your success within the company. How good does that make you feel? And you're gonna you're gonna share that with other people. A lot of people get jobs by knowing somebody or hearing it from somebody, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So the onboarding process is broken in a lot of companies, and senior leadership usually don't know.
How do you
They
like? You mentioned one of the tips for fixing it, like creating a vision while onboarding, showing him the roadmap that this is something what is possible down the line next 2 3 years, and the evaluation period, setting up the right expectation. Are there any other tips that you would like to add while HR can like onboard like a pro?
Sure. So, are they, you know, uh, so I know somebody that's very close to me in my life that a new employee might not have anything to do for 3 or 4 days because they haven't got equipment yet, or a laptop or whatever, or the training hasn't been downloaded yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all of these things, sure, the employee's not doing anything and they're getting paid maybe to do nothing, right? But that's really inefficient. You know, why are these things not just implemented right away, right? We know we're going to bring this person on, so we need to have this equipment to them by this day.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that employee might go, okay, hey, I have nothing to do for 3 or 4 days, that experience is still not very good. And it kind of seems like they don't have their what together, right?
Yes.
So it's sometimes the simplest of things that will that employee is not going to, ring the bell of the company saying, hey, come here, work here, to other people, when processes are just broken. And a lot of, again, senior leadership don't know this. Why? There's just not enough sometimes communication when things are broken. People don't want to admit it, or they just think that's the way it is.
Yes.
But that onboarding and offboarding really mean a lot.
Offboarding is like the most challenging part of HR that I feel personally. It's hard as an employer to let go someone. Maybe we'll shed some light at the end of this video. Maybe we will go step before onboarding in terms of, let's say you are looking for a talent. Okay, so firstly we discussed about your online reputation that employer needs to take care of. What are the platforms that we can use to leverage that review section? If any HR who's not using certain tools to create that positive reputation, what platforms would you suggest that HR should make and positive impact about their brand?
I do not see enough companies leveraging LinkedIn's business pages because I see organizations, how many people are following this, their company's business page, and it's a lot. But employers, companies do not encourage their own employees to engage with this social, maybe they think they're going to screw around and, play it on it for hours. But I've seen some startups tell during the onboarding, we want you to join our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Twitter accounts.
Exactly.
And,
I was on
and
a
it,
call, I
go
was
ahead.
on a team meeting call yesterday, and this is what, like, I emphasized to the team that the best thing that we can do in terms of marketing, not just like a company brand, but also like, for overall brand reputation, everybody on our team should utilize LinkedIn to the fullest. So yes, I think it is like a mandatory thing to do. But yeah, a lot of companies are quite hesitant to adopt this because they think that the talent will be taken down to the other company. Uh, yeah. Uh,
But that's not the case. What you create are engaged employees. So this startup that I helped, they started once a month recognizing an employee on LinkedIn. Now they would ask permission first, and the employee would said sure. But then they got such good response on their company page with those other employees celebrating, and just that they started doing it weekly, at recognizing just for something simple. Somebody, this person helped something. This person we watched help somebody, jumpstart their car in the parking lot, right? Just going out of their way, or just anything. But when they started doing that weekly,
mhm.
people in the office went out of their way to like help celebrate people throughout. They created within a very short period of time a culture of celebration. And when you have that, and you can do that in large companies as well. You
Mhm.
have engaged people that even if they leave, sing the praises of your department or organization. They really do.
So there is a question from the audience. How would you try to engage more of your employees to take part in employer branding? Because engaging is challenging. So a lot of companies try, that you should like our post or comment or share on the post, but they still find it challenging. Although there's a feature on company page that notify employee once in
Yes.
24 hours that people leverage, but it's still like hard to motivate employees to actually engage with the content. How do you see like how something that we can fix this?
Sure. Well, I'm going to go back to that story I shared. When you share the amazing talents of others or praises, right? Well, not only is that person, if the company that I previously worked for did that, I'm going to tell everybody, but everybody likes to help celebrate. So I think it starts with recognition. And then after recognition, you know, what are some of the things that in your organization that are important to your employees? Now, maybe it's the charitable work you do, right? Or the whatever it is. Share more of that. Or how about this? Ask, give an employee survey. What time of day, what days of week do you, believe that you could engage on our page, right? And then tell people, and then post at the same time. Ask your employees what they want, and you'll get some amazing feedback. But I think it starts with praising and then sharing again those things that your employees have told you that are important to them, different charitable things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just ask your teams and be consistent with your branding. Certain times of the day, certain days of the week, and let's face it, most business pages post, once a day if they're, some large business pages. I know you post multiple times a day, and I do as well. But why not? Again, just ask
It's
your
a,
team,
it's a
ask
free
your
piece of real estate that you can use to leverage your company brand, also like for your sales and marketing, even customer success. So why not leverage it? Yeah, that's what I feel. We usually like post 3 to 4 times in a day as a best practice. If you are like in HR, I would suggest at least have once a week your employee testimonial on your LinkedIn page. This is like something that you can do. If you want to go next level, you can actually record a 30-second video about the experience at your company. How do they feel? I think this is like something very, very crucial. Moving on, like, there was one important tool that people actually check these days, Glassdoor, for reviews of their experience in the company. Do you think that is relevant today? And actually, HR should invest time in making sure the reputation on Glassdoor is good?
I do agree. And now I think Glassdoor, and this is not to knock anything about Glassdoor. I think Glassdoor it was more popular 5, 6 years ago. Um, but today, because again, a lot of those are negative. A lot of the reviews, there's some positive, but the ones that are negative really go into detail. So it's good to look at it, but most people are going to social media to look at companies' business pages and what they do. So, although it's a good idea, um, I think you'll find it easier to find out what those employees really feel by going up to other social media like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn.
There's a question, Sapir Avisar. Hi, thank you for joining in. In your opinion, employer branding should be under HR team or marketing team?
Oh boy. So I think that everybody should be involved. Um, you need a little bit of that HR and regulations, to maybe put it in check potentially, but maybe the HR team isn't the right team to actually be creating. So I think there's a partnership, um, and getting your employees involved in what they want to see. Because again, right, you want and companies say, Dave, I want more of my employees to be engaged. So ask them what they want to see. But I think it's a little bit of both. I think HR needs to be reviewing it, but in
So,
my experience, HR would not be the person.
absolutely. I think here's what I think in terms of, and here's what I do for employer branding. Okay. Before this interview, like the session we are doing now, I had 3 interviews scheduled this morning. I'm hiring for a position, and all of the people who came to who applied to the position, they knew me before even I spoke to them. Right? They knew me. They knew my company. It's power of, like, branding and how you position yourself as a company on social media. How active are you on LinkedIn? That is like very key element of, like, what people think of you. They really wanted to, like, they were desperate. They joined 15 minutes before I joined the call, right? This is like kind of desperateness that they had to work with me. So to create that kind of to create that kind of environment, you need to work with marketing team to create that kind of design, messaging. Again, to record a video, it requires video editing, scripting, all of the elements which cannot be done by HR, because HR's focus is more on like hiring and making sure that employees are happy. Um, but I think marketing plays almost 80% of the role here. But you need to be like the initiative taker here, because it's something important for HR. Uh, Thank you, Sapir, for a great question. Please keep the questions rolling. We will love to take more and more questions. Moving on, let's see. Retaining employees. What do you think about retaining employees? How do you make sure that employees are happy with you and they stay longer with you because of the employer branding that you have?
Sure, people care about, diversity, right? So they want to see, diverse hires. How do you keep so, you know, people are not always motivated by money. If you know your teams well, meaning you meet with them other than maybe annual review time, right? You're asking them questions, maybe you're meeting with them every couple months or whatever it is. But when you really know your teams, you know what motivates them. And a lot of times it's not just money, but it's recognition, right?
Yes.
It's a flexible work schedule, right? Being able to either come into the office or stay at home or a combination of both. But you need to know individually. This again, this you can't just cast a wide net and say everybody wants this or everybody doesn't, because again, everybody's motivated by different things. Maybe it's unlimited, time off. Maybe it's a little perk or a benefit, or again, healthcare. But here's one thing: employees know when you hire somebody at, let's say, 150,000 a year,
Mhm.
and you've been with the company for 8 years and you make 140, and that person's entry level. They hear this. I know we're not supposed to share salaries, but if you go to TikTok, you'll see people sharing how much they make all the time. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
but
What do you do
but
for a living?
yes, people understand this. So I'm not saying that companies need to go, okay, we need to raise every employee's salary by 10% to get to the market. Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But companies do need to review during, their annual review time. I know they have a bucket of money that they're given or whatever, but they need to really check to see, are we paying our current employees? Because the easiest way to get a raise right now in today's job market, easiest way to get a raise, that's easy. Go apply for a different company doing the same thing for a lot more, because
Yes.
companies have to pay more to get top talent. But again, it's really
So
understanding what
y-
your, employees.
maybe I would like to add something to what you said, because I've been hiring a lot in last 3 4 years. So the challenging part of hiring new employees or good talent, they come with a premium. Like you have to pay 40% hike, 50% hike if there's good talent. But we forget about people who are already working for us, who are loyal, who are committed, who are hardworking. We forget to reward them. Eventually, we lose them as well along the way. So instead of like putting premium on 50% hike on the newer employees that you hire, it's important that you give 20% raise to your current employees and make sure they are happy with you, so they stay longer with you. That's something that I like, and also maybe as a CEO tip I would like to give. So when I see a performance of an employee is very good this month, he worked some like exceptionally well in certain project, I put an incentive without telling him or her at the end of the month. So when he sees in a paycheck, automatically she feels or he feels appreciated. So that goes a long way, that the person is appreciating my work, and he or she tries to put in more effort next month. Uh, what do you think about this idea?
Oh yeah, praise when it's not expected, whether it's a pat on the back or it's a gift card or that little bonus. But when it's not expected but deserved, goes a long way. I have a recent client that what they've done is they've told all their current employees, they told them, we have to pay people more to get good talent more. And we understand that not all of you might not be making that. So here's what we've done. Starting today, we put a 6 month retention bonus. You stay here for 6 months, you're going to get this. If you are still here a year after that 6 months, here is this. Now, and this will be in addition to the any annual raise that you get.
Wow. So that is a
People
good
got
idea.
excited, even though that percentage wasn't a whole lot. But now they go, okay, I'm here for 6 months. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. And they automatically, because obviously companies, terminations and, people quitting and churn and all that. Um, Within, I think 3 months of implementing this, they already seen, it's slowing down, slowing down,
Yeah.
and they know it's going to over time. And word gets out because they said that this is never going to go away. Now, we know companies sometimes don't keep their word, like shame on you, Apple, for telling people, 2 years ago, you're never going to have to return to the office. And then, hey, you got to return to the office.
Yeah.
Uh, but this company plans on putting this in place for a very, very long time.
I think this is a really good strategy that I need to also implement soon.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
Thank you. Actually, it is very, like, we are, when you gamify something, reward system to achieve certain things, and you get desired, outcome for the company, you get rewarded this. So your mindset is focused more on this rather than like hunting for another positions. Uh, this reminds me of, people switching jobs and, negotiating their offers. For example, let's say I'm hunting for a job and I get one offer from a company, and I'm like keeping that on hold, leveraging that offer to get an even better offer, right? How do you, how does employer branding helps us decrease this kind of activities done by employers? Yeah.
Yeah, again, people talk. Everything that we've been discussing today keeps people from going, you know what? I could get a little bit more money going to this company, but I like what I do, and I feel valued. Again, I'm going to go back. Employees want to feel valued. They want a sense of belonging and caring. They want to see potential for growth. The grass isn't always greener, even though they're going to get more money. So
Yep.
again, you know, happy employees stay. Whether or not they're maybe could get paid more somewhere else, I really think it comes to that, and we're still seeing employee value propositions from way before COVID, like from 2018 and 2019. Companies need to really reevaluate their talent strategy and
Mhm.
really talk about how do they improve on their employee value proposition, or throw it away and start over and be committed to starting over today to retain, be that at the forefront of everything HR is doing.
Perfect. There's a question from the audience. Hi, Noman. Thank you for joining in. How can small sites, startups with restricted budgets effectively work and create good working environment or good employer branding?
Sure. I think it starts with recognition. I think if it's a startup, maybe I think it's easier to touch all the employees. Obviously, not physically, but you know what I mean. I think maybe with a startup, it's much easier to be more involved. So I think, like what we had already said, employee recognition on social media with startups. I think with a lot of startups, there is that sense of family in a lot of them. So if they don't ever get rid of that as they scale, I think that and okay, and here's something. Okay, maybe they don't have a budget to right to uh, increase salaries. Can they give? Maybe they have. Maybe they've gone public, and maybe they have some stock they can give or other incentives. Ask your teams what they want. So I get this all the time. Oh my gosh,
How do
if
you ask what they want?
that's easy.
You do a
You
poll or something, or do a survey?
no, I think in-person small meetings, whether they're virtual or in Teams, and people think this. Hey, I want you to ask. So let me share this first. Um, recently I took a course and I didn't want to pay X amount of dollars for it. And so I said, this time I'm going to pass. Not that I couldn't afford it, I just did not want to invest that amount.
Mhm.
A friend of mine came back and said, well, how much would you invest in this course? And I'm like, well, I can write my own, I can say $1. He says, yep, but I didn't. I said something close to what. So I think sometimes we think if we ask our people what they want, they're going to say the world. But all people aren't as selfish as we think they are. Ask them what they want. The first thing might not be money. Hey, I need a better commute time. Can I come in at 9 and work until 6? Well,
Yes.
sure, right? Ask people what they want. And if you can virtually or in person, you're going to get much better than in a poll. I think a poll, it could be a good start, but it's not intimate enough.
Thank you for sharing. There's one important thing which work for me. Okay, so when we were pre-COVID era, okay, people were coming to office, so they were restricted with time that they have to come in, let go. Last 3 years I made everything virtual, and I decided to allow my employees to work at their own convenience, unless they are customer facing, that they need to be available at certain hours, but they can work on their own schedule. We have a weekly meeting, and we have then our KPIs. So expectations are set. I don't care what time schedule you work in. You have your KPIs that you need to deliver to the company, and you can work like 4 hours in a day. And if you are fast enough, and I don't care what you do rest of the day. Be in like Hawaii, on the beach. So that really worked for us. People stayed longer, are staying longer and still with us, because of this flexibility. So that kind of things that people require today, it's not everything about money. uh, uh, Now I'm getting applicants who I'm interviewing. They're working full time. So in India or in Israel, people companies are calling them back to office now, full time, not hybrid model even. So people are so used to working online and remotely. They said that I'm willing to cut down my last pay. You pay me 20% less, but I want to work online. That's how the mindset is today. Uh, in terms of, there is one question from the audience I would like to take. How do you analyze EVP? Uh, so employer branding value proposition, like basically, research shows how strong the employer brand has direct impact on talent acquisition. Have you had? Do you like you want to shed some light on it if you're aware?
No, sure. So, listen, if you're seeing too many people exit your company, if you're not getting, when it comes to offboarding, you're not getting really good responses, you need to start over. And you really need to have five things. Your EVP must be holistically linked to your purpose. People are, joining, organizations, like I said, that have greater purpose. Got to foster a culture of belonging, flexibility, and growth. I think we talked about
Yeah.
flexibility. I think we talked about belonging and potential growth.
Yes.
Um, and you must look inside first and create a movement, meaning you got to get behind this. It can't be, the CEO, everybody involved has to live this new employee value proposition.
Mhm.
Um, and it's gotta be authentic. It can't just be a bunch of words that you mix your mission and vision together and put it out there. You gotta live it. You gotta live it once it's there. So how do you live it? That's easy. You gotta keep things short and sweet, and you gotta have some actionable things in there that people can, and okay, so maybe you tell people after you've created this, what if you developed content across social media that touched on a little bit of this? I think that's a start. And again, your words and actions must match the employee experience.
So maybe to wrap up the discussion we had so far, what are your key takeaways that you would like to give audience, like summary of what we discussed, and later, like after this summary, please stay tuned because we are gonna share some of like important aspect that what we do and what we are offering as a special offer as a giveaway. And on top of it, you love to hear what David is doing to help you get hired. So stay tuned. So let's go for like takeaway notes for employer branding, and then we can discuss what you do, David, to help them.
Sure. If people are leaving your company, and the percentage of people that are leaving are higher than you want, you really need to look at that EVP. I think we touched base. You need to be on LinkedIn and various platforms sharing employee experience. If it's a video, it could be a text and a photo. Video works really well. Find those people in your organization that are willing to do that. We have to be mindful that we have to it's not about making customers happy. How do you make customers happy? You have happy employees. Employees are the ones that interact. So
Exactly.
if any part of this is broken, or you're in HR, you're in marketing, you're a senior, VP, or you're a CEO, if this sounds like you, meet with your teams, talk about your company's EVP, and take quick action. It costs you nothing because you're already posting to post things on social media that praise your teams.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that, David. It's crucial these days how companies are not realizing the importance of posting on social media or specifically LinkedIn. Start with sharing like testimonials from your employees. Okay, once a week. The second thing you can do, like to take some video of the testimonial. The next thing you can do, like share some pictures of the events you host in the office, some trips you're taking. Let's say your company is doing some webinar or going to an event. Take some pictures, share it with the world, so that they see how the life is at XYZ company. These are the key elements. Think put yourself in, like, employee shoes, and you will realize, they want is to get involved in your business, be valued. Growth is something important. So the small elements for the success of employer branding. In terms of helping companies with their social media strategy, whether be it marketing, sales, or employer branding, you can reach out to David. He helps companies, CEOs, marketing experts with employer branding, even marketing, sales, how to create that brand on LinkedIn. Uh, David, you want to share some details about your business so that people can reach out to you?
Sure. I also occasionally help the job seeker create resumes that get the phone to ring and LinkedIn profiles that get noticed by recruiters. But yes, everybody wins when everybody in your organization shows up better on social media. Let's just talk about LinkedIn. But everybody wins. Think of this. You know, if if you level up everybody's game, that maybe your department heads or most of your teams on LinkedIn, they will look better. And I'm not talking about physically the appearance, but they will show up better to clients,
Yes.
vendors, potential clients. So you don't have to worry that improving your employees' LinkedIn profile and then they go find another job because of it. It may happen one or two, but by upping your employees' game, your organization wins. So when your employees show up better, when they're engaged on your business post, everybody wins. I promise you. And again, we have already talked about engaged people. Engaged people stay. So
If you are looking for some things that David is doing, reach out to him. As an giveaway for this webinar, David has an ebook, "How to Network on LinkedIn Like a Pro." Reach him out on LinkedIn. Just message him. He's very much proactive when it comes to LinkedIn responses. So he will definitely share that ebook with you. And if you are not following him already, he has 80,000 followers on LinkedIn. You can be the next one. Uh, as a special giveaway from Testlify side, as a thank you gift for your participating in this event, we are giving you 2 months of subscription worth $398. You can just simply go to testlify.com and sign up. Once you sign up, you will get 7 days trial. Just simply put a message to a support team that you attended this webinar, and they will extend your period on the platform. And if you need anything from my side, if you have any questions that I can help you with on LinkedIn, feel free to reach me out. You get I usually respond to each and every messages I get within 24 hours. So thank you so much, David, for your time today. It was a pleasure talking to you and hosting you. Looking forward to our next session soon.
hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. And we had some amazing questions. We got some smart viewers here today.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.